All right. World of Warships was running a special test this weekend to test out the new aircraft carriers. And they explain what all's going on here in this video. And one of the things that attracted me to this was the opportunity to potentially win an Enterprise or a Musashi. I especially would like to get my hands on a Musashi. So they're going to be giving away 5 of each of those, and all you have to do is go into that public test, play 10 random battles in certain destroyers, cruisers, or battleships to get in on the Musashi raffle, and then 10 more random battles in any of the CVs, and you get in on the raffle for an Enterprise. Now, they were pretty specific about which ships they wanted you to use when you were testing these. The other ships that were available, just because they were on the public test, had a tendency to cause weird lag problems. So I couldn't use some of the ships that I regularly use. But Worcester has good AA and was a good test of the anti-aircraft mechanics. Daring doesn't have really good AA, so that was also a good test. And then Kurfürst definitely it does not have great AA, and same deal, was a good test of the anti-aircraft capabilities. And I found it was okay. Um, they talk about manual control, but all it does is allow you to basically turn on enhanced AA for a period of time, and then there's a timer on it. I didn't find that it was an overwhelming advantage. It helped, but it's not allowing you to actually control individual AA mounts and fire at the incoming aircraft. You're just activating your enhanced skill, and that's it. Now, with the carriers, you were limited to the Midway, the Audacious, and the Hakuryu. And I drove the Midway and the Hakuryu and did my 10 missions on that. And we're going to be watching one of my battles in a bit. And you know, I'm not a CV player. I do drive CVs once in a while, usually just for naval battles. But the reality is that there are much better CV players. And right away, I found it was a very difficult thing to get into the changes. And we'll see those when we get into the battle. One of the biggest changes is that when you're in transit, you're at high altitude and you're no longer spotting. When you're at high altitude, you have to drop down into reconnaissance mode using the Q button, and I'll probably be explaining that in this battle. But you have to intentionally drop down when you think that you're going to be able to spot something for your team. Otherwise, you're kind of depending on your team spotting for you. And then you can go into attack mode. You can be in attack mode from high altitude or from reconnaissance mode. If you go into attack mode, though, from high altitude, you have to attack from much further out. If you try to go into attack mode from too close up, you simply just go right over the enemy ship without actually being able to activate your armament. So you have to really plan ahead for that. Makes it a lot harder for you to focus an enemy ship that's helpless, like a destroyer that's beached and things like that, or a cruiser that's camping behind an island and you can get to its broadside. On the other hand, reconnaissance mode is limited in the time that you get it. You store it up, and then when you start using it, you burn it away. Then Uh, from then on, until you accrue more reconnaissance time, you have to do your attacks from high altitude, and that's just the way it is. You're not receiving AA fire while you're at high altitude, though. That is an advantage to that. On the other hand, enemy fighters can still get to you, and you can't see where they're planting them, and so sometimes you find yourself driving through a bunch of enemy fighters, didn't even realize they were there if your team didn't spot them for you. So that's something to be aware of. Now, when you go into attack mode, or when you drop down into recon mode, then you're totally vulnerable to AA fire and all of that. But let's see how things go with that battle. And I can't remember which ship I brought in. I recorded a few different battles, and the narration is not going to be great during the battle. I had to really concentrate. This was a lot more difficult to drive the CVs than it has been in the game. One other thing I wanted to mention, if I don't bring it up during the game, is that we're going to have access to the manual secondaries. So this carrier, for instance, the Midway, has a whole bunch of secondary mounts all over, and the larger ones are destroyer level gun mounts, and you can manually use those to target an incoming ship. And if it's a lower health DD, then he better not sit there and try to go guns on you. If he can't get his torps to you, then you can actually turn your ship into one huge destroyer and be firing your secondary mounts manual control, just like any other gunship, and then drive your CV around and hopefully avoid his torpedoes. Now, if you've got an incoming cruiser or battleship, then that's not going to work out so well for you. But I actually got into one battle where I was able to go guns on guns with another CV, and I was able to finish it off and won the game. Unfortunately, I did not record that one, I don't think, but it's going to be different. It's going to make some things better for surface ships. It's going to make some things a little more difficult. And so that's actually, I feel that Wargaming is doing a pretty good job trying to balance things out. They've taken some of the things that they learned from submarines, where they limited the time the submarines could just stay underwater undetected, and they've kind of applied that to CVs for how much time they could be flying along invulnerable to AA fire, but be spotting the whole time. Now you have to put your planes into danger if you're going to spot. So, okay, let's get into that battle, and then I'll see you on the other side. All right, it is another battle with two carriers against each other, and all the rest are bots. All right, let me set up my autopilot here.
Autopilot mode enabled.
Okay, now the first thing you'll notice is the weapon selection down at the bottom is different. Key number 1 is going to let me use my large secondaries as main guns, and they are destroyer level guns, so not bad.
Battle starts.
So 3, 4, and 5 are going to select aircraft, and right away we go into cruising altitude, where I cannot do reconnaissance. I can't spot anything. get out here where I am able to spot. You'll notice a counter down here. This is counting how much time I'll have available to me in recon mode. And so I will go ahead and start using that. When I do, I become vulnerable to AA fire. But now I can see which way the enemy is going and attack from this. I can also attack from cruising mode, but it takes a while longer, so you have to start your attack from further out. You won't have a spot, you have to have somebody else spot. Okay, I am getting chewed up by fighters here. Get out of there and put my own fighters out here. Alright, let's return and grab some bombers. Hopefully our two carriers are not about to bump into each other. I'm not driving mine. He's probably not driving his. Okay, the Howland is a mean AA platform when it wants to be. So is the Genon, but the Rigolo is not.
Engaging an enemy.
Well, got one pin on him. Not a lot. Come back around. Might be able to land something on that Genon. Or the Rigolo. He's going down. Okay. Let's go after the Republic. Alright. Come back around and try that again. There we go. 4 pins, bit of fire. Alright. Now let's come back with some torpedoes. While I am in transit, I think I'm going to just park in a safe spot right now. Cerberus kind of worries me a little bit. Okay. Turn. Okay. If I get a good one on him, I will do good damage to that Republic. Yep, got him. Okay, now let's go after the dairy. I returned back to high altitude, so I have to start my attack much further out.
Our team is taking the lead.
Okay, well, the dairy's down, so
Engaging an enemy.
might be able to get in on the Nevsky, I don't know. Okay, got 2 torpedoes into him. come back around. Have to start my attack much further out when you're in cruising mode. Now we're coming in. Okay. Now let's go for bombs again. Got him. Okay.
Destination reached. We destroyed an enemy cruiser.
Starting to get used to those mechanics. They are tricky now. It's just a little different than before. Because you're starting from so much higher. You just have to be aware of that. Once you get down into attack mode, you are vulnerable. Okay, only one pin, but I started a fire. Coming back around. Gonna be bombing on his broadside. We'll just have to accept that.
Approaching target.
Anything we do will help. Didn't do much. Speaking of not doing much, I haven't been doing much to protect my shipmates, my teammates, from their carrier. They're doing their job. Two pins. One more chance. Lose the Henri. Oh, we lost two at the same time. Dang. I had a carrier gun in a spot. There. Okay.
Enemy cruiser destroyed.
Now, let's see, what do I have available? I have torpedoes. And I've got a battleship just over here. Uh-oh. It's in our cap. Go figure.
Engaging enemy.
Okay, got a flood. Got a lot of torps into it. Now I've got to start my attack run further out. Oh, too far out. Bummer. Okay, let's swing that around and try it again. Okay. Now maybe. Ooh. I'm having a hard time aiming my torpedoes all of a sudden. Okay, I need something to hit him to reset it. I missed. Alright, let's try it. Got one plane that might be able to get in there. Oop, didn't get it. Alrighty, so I need to go after him with bombs. Oh boy. supposed to be able to see me. Okay, let's
Autopilot mode enabled.
get out of there.
Fighter returning to ship.
So look at me.
Problem solved, sir.
Okay. Active again. Don't know if it's going to be enough or not, though.
Ship is on
Okay.
fire. Main turret critically
Please down.
damaged. Enemy battleship destroyed. Destination
Now.
reached. Fighter airborne.
Okay, let's go to their cap. For whatever good that does.
Autopilot mode enabled.
We will try. And I guess I need to find those ships. They're going to be all over
Main
me
turret
now.
critically damaged. Torpedoes direct front. Fighter airborne.
Okay. They are... Oh, there they are. Okay.
Problem solved, sir. Fighter airborne.
All right. Their fighters are going to be at me.
Engaging enemy.
Yeah. Rockets are really late.
All
Again.
brakes. We're taking on water quickly.
Shoot. And they hit me with a torpedo. Okay. Well,
Main turret critically
we're
damaged.
not going to win this one. But you get an idea of how it works. Oh, savage defeat. 145,000 in damage, though. But the other team outdid me. Bummer. It happens, though. But I think it's going to make some interesting changes. I don't know if the CV mains are going to be happy with it, but you know, it does give them a little more control over some things happening with their ship. One of the things I noticed was that when a destroyer is trying to attack a CV, he can't just sit there and use his guns on the CV, because the CV has more guns and they're just as good. So if the destroyer can't get in with his torps, then that's going to help the CV player out quite a bit. On the other hand, a DD isn't spotted unless I press Q and go into recon mode. So if the CV player is just trying to cruise to a spot and get there in a hurry, then that's less likelihood that destroyer is going to get detected, and they're going to be able to get into caps more easily, uncontested, unmolested. So anyway, I am kind of interested to see how this is going to affect things. I think that it may balance things out a little bit more. Now, this will not be going on to the live server for a little while yet. I think they're probably going to go through at least one more testing cycle, but we'll see. I'm just willing to try it out. I'm not a CV main. I definitely didn't do awful in that match, but I would have preferred being in a cruiser or a battleship in that situation, to be honest. Anyway, I think we'll call that one, and I'll try to get it posted in the next couple days. All right, see you in the game.